compare that, I am who I am, or Jesus saying, before Abraham was, I am, meaning, before I came as Jesus of Nazareth, I existed as God, and I am still God. Compare that with the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Judaism and Christianity teach a God who speaks and hears and shows. So we can have the knowledge of our Creator through what He has said in history and what has been recorded in Scripture. And if you're talking about Taoism or several forms of Hinduism, the idea is that the ultimate, the absolute, is beyond language, beyond thought, beyond concepts. And this is supposedly a position of exaltation. And I want to say you undermine any positive descriptive language whatsoever if you say God is beyond language. How could you even apprise a being or a state of affairs or an entity that is utterly beyond words, thoughts, and language? You really can't do it. And early on in my philosophical career, I was mentored by a man named Keith Yandel, University of Wisconsin-Madison. He passed away a few years ago. But he was a very rigorous, deeply analytical critic of this idea. It's called ineffability. And you find this notion of ineffability in certain forms of Buddhism. We can't really say what nirvana is. You find it in Taoism. You find it in certain forms of Hinduism as well. And it leaves us adrift in a world without a word from God. And I want to make that point very clear, that if you follow one of these religious paths, you are following a wordless religion, and you're thrown back on some kind of mystical intuition or experience of what? Of nothing we could really specify. I've also really been helped and ministered to by two other thinkers on this claim. And that is Francis Schaeffer, who wrote a little book called He is There and He is Not Silent. God is a God who speaks. And then also in much more detail and in a very thorough way, Carl F. H. Henry, his 6-volume set, God, Revelation, and Authority. He has a long section about the God who speaks. So if the ultimate reality is silent, then we do not have the knowledge of who we are, how we ought to live, or what the ultimate reality is. But the good news is that God has spoken.